Hi guys, welcome to Closer's Mathematics class. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video. In today's class, we want to talk about how to solve questions using the bisection method. So this is a numerical analysis series and we are going to be doing this for a while. So we'll be talking about first the bisection method, and in my next video I'll be talking about the regular forcing method, and it goes on like that. So talking about bisection method, how do you solve questions using the bisection method? Don't forget, we said it's a numerical analysis series, and so one of the things we're going to be doing is we are going to be checking when the number converges into a particular series. All right, so in this question we have that x raised to power 3 minus 4x minus 9 equals to 0 using bisection method in 4 steps. So the first thing you need to do there is you are going to write your solution. So we have f of x equals to x raised to power 3 minus 4x minus 9 equals to 0. So what you want to do here is that the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you get a negative and a positive f of a. So how will you get that? Just do for 0. So do f of 0. Now if you do f of 0, you are going to have 0 raised to power 3 minus 4 into 0 minus 9, which will give you minus 9. You can see that our answer here is negative. All right. Now the next thing, you go again to the next number, which is 1. You want to get a negative and a positive number. So the next one is what? 1. So f of 1. F of 1 will give us 1 raised to power 3 minus 4 into 1 minus 9. This will give us 1. This will give us minus 4. Minus 4 minus 9 will give us minus 13. And minus 13 plus 1 will give us minus 12. You can see that this is still negative. Now, because I get negative, I can't use this number. So I have to go on to the next number. The next number is what? 2. So that will give f of 2. That will give us 3 raised to power 3 minus 4 into 2 minus 9. If you do this, you are going to get a negative number also, which will be what? Negative 9, because this is 8, this is 8, and the only thing I'll be left with is what? Minus 9. You can see that I still have a negative number here. I still can't use it. I need to still move on. So moving on to f of 3. F of 3 will now be what? 3 raised to power 3 minus 4 into 3 minus 9. Now this one is now going to give us what? A positive number, because this will give us 27, this will give us minus 12, and this will give us minus 9. Minus 12 minus 9 will give us minus 21, and minus 21 plus 27 will give us 6. You can see now that I have a positive number. Now, where do I get the nearest negative and positive? I get a negative here and I get a positive here. So these are the two numbers I am going to use. Now, how will I get my first iteration? The way to get your first iteration is very simple. All you just need to do is your x1, this is the formula I'm going to be using. X1 is equal to what? A plus B. So x1 equals to A plus B all over 2. Now, what's your A here? Your A is the first number you use to get the negative, and your B is the second number you use to get the what? The positive. So that will be what? 2 and 3. So that's what? 2 plus 3 divided by 2. And if you agree with me, you're going to have 2.5 as your answer. Now, this is the first iteration. So if the question says you should find the first iteration alone, that is going to be your answer. But what did the question say you should find? The question says up to 4 steps. That means up to the 4th iteration. So how am I going to go about it? I need to do the second iteration. And how am I going to do that? What I need to do first is f of x1. That means I'm going to put this value into my f of x again. Let's do that together. That will now be 2.5 raised to power 3 minus 4 into 2.5 minus 9. Now, we have 2.5 raised to power 3 minus 4 into 2.5 minus 9. If you do that very well, you are going to have minus 3.375. You can see that this is a negative answer. Now, you can see my nearest thing, I have a positive and I have a negative. Then I can now get my x2. My x2 will now be, what number do I use to get negative here? 2.5, Abby. You know, that's my x1, which is 2.5. And what number do I use last year? 3. So my x2 will now be what? My x2 will be 3 plus 2.5. And 3 plus 2.5 divided by 2, that will give us 5.5. 5.5 divided by 2, and that will give us 2.625. So that will give us 2.625. This is the second iteration. The question says up to the fourth stage. Now, I need to do x3. But before I get x3, what do I need to do? I need to do f of what? My x2. So, my f of x2 will be what? Anywhere I see x in the question again, I'll put what? 2.625. So, that will be what? 2.625 raised to power 3 minus 4 into 2.625 minus 9. Now, if you punch a calculator, you are going to have 0.7968. 0.7968. So this is what you are going to get. Now, you can see that here too, I have a positive number. And the last one I did, I have negative. That means I can use this, my number, and this. Are you seeing that now? So I can use this and this. So that means my x3 will be what? 2.5, which gave me positive, negative. That's 2.5. You know, 2.5 gave me negative. So that's 2.5 plus the one that gave me positive now, which is 2.625. 2.625 divided by what? By 2. And that will give us 2. Sorry, I think I made a mistake here. So this is supposed to give me 2.75. Sorry about that. This is to give me 2.75. So let's quickly do that since we get the method now. So let's quickly do something like this. That will be what? F of 2.75. That's the next thing, because 5.5 divided by 2 will give me 2.75. So if you do that, will be 2.75 raised to power 3 minus 4 into 2.75 minus 9. If we do that, we are going to get 0.7968, which is positive. Sorry about the mistake there. All right. So going into the next step, I have a positive and a negative. So that means my x3 will be what? 2. The one that gave me positive the last time is 2.5. So that's 2.5 plus the one that gave me positive now, which is 2.75. So 2.75 divided by 2, and that gives us 2.625. All right. So I'm sure you know this next step now. The next step now is to do f of 2.625, which I've done. I've showed you the steps. So that will be 2.625 raised to power 3. All right. Minus 4 into 2.625, then minus 9. If we do that, we are going to get negative 1.412. So this is what I am going to get. Now, what do you notice again? You notice I get a negative number. And when I did the last one, I got a positive. That means I can use both of them together. So the idea is a negative and a positive. A negative and a positive. All right. So which one gave me positive? That's 2.5. I mean 2.75. So I'm going to have my x4 now, which is 2.75 plus this one now, which gave me this. So that's 2.625, then divided by 2. All right. So if we add those ones up together, you are going to have 2.6875. If you divide your answer, you are going to have 2.6875. So that means in this place, our first iteration, our x1, what's our x1? Our x1 is 2.5, and our x2, our second iteration, what do we get? That's 2.75. Our x3, what do we get for our x3? Our x3 is 2.625, so it's 2.625. And our x4, that's our fourth iteration, that's the last answer we got here, which is 2.6875. So 2.6875. So this is the solution to our first question. All right. So let's go into the second question now. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and always share this video. So our next question, we have the question here. The question says, find the root of x raised to power 3 minus x minus 1 using bisection method in 3 stages. So I would love you to pause the video and try to solve this question on your own before you return back to this video. All right. So let's do the solution now. So we have our f of x. Our f of x here is x raised to power 3 minus x minus 1. So how do we need to go about the solution? The same thing I did the first time. I'm sure you can now follow exactly what I did the first time. So the first thing you do is to do for 0. So your f of 0, that will be 0 raised to power 3 minus 0 minus 1. And I'm sure you know this will give you minus 1. All right. The next thing you go to 1 rather. So that will be what? 1 raised to power 3 minus 1 minus 1. That will also give us minus 1. Are you seeing exactly what I'm doing? The next thing now is to go to 2, right? So f of 2. You can see because I'm getting negative, negative, I can't do anything about it. So negative, negative. So f of 2 now, that will be 2 raised to power 3 minus 2 minus 1. 2 raised to power 3 is 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 minus 1 will give us 5, which is positive. All right. You can see now that I now have negative and positive. All right. So my x1 now will now be 1 plus 2 divided by 2, which will give me 1.5. So this is my first iteration. Then going to my second iteration, that will be x2. All right. My x2, I'll first do f of x1, Abi. And what will be my f of x1? Anywhere I see x, I'll put what? 1.5. So that's f of 1.5. And that'll be what? 1.5. That'll be 1.5 raised to power 3 minus 1.5 minus 1. If you do that, we have 1.5 raised to power 3 minus 1.5 and minus 1. So here we are going to have our answer to be 0.875. Now you can see here that I have a positive number. So here now I have a positive number at 1.5, and have a positive number at 2. So which one is my nearest negative number? Which one is my nearest negative number? You are going to agree with me that my nearest negative number here is at 1. Is at 1. So that means I'm going to use this and this. I get what I'm saying now. So what am I going to do now? My x2 is going to be what? 1, which is this, plus my 1.5, which is what? Positive. So 1.5, and that will give us 2.5 divided by 2, and 2.5 divided by 2 will give us 1.25. Now this is the second iteration, but the question says up to the third iteration. So for you to do the third iteration, I'm sure you know the next step. So that means you are going to do f of x3. And doing f of x3 simply means you are going to have f of the answer that you get, which is f of 1.25. So f of 1.25 is going to be 1.25 raised to power 3 minus 1.25 minus 1. Don't forget that it is x raised to power 3 minus x minus 1 that we are using. So if you do this on your calculator, you are going to get negative 0.2968. So if you punch a calculator, you are going to have negative 0.2968. So we are getting to our answer now. X3 will now be, because here now I have a negative and I have a positive, so I don't need to go too far. I just need to do 1.5, which is giving me positive here, 1.5 plus this 1.25 divided by 2. So if you do 1.5 plus 1.25 divided by 2, you are going to get 1.375. So this is your third iteration, which satisfies the question. So what is our x1? Our x1 is 1.5. Our x2 is 1.25, and our x3 is 1.375. So that is the answer that is required. All right, so let's go to the last question before we wrap up for today. Don't forget to turn on your notification if you have not done that. If there is any question, do ask in the comments section. Feel free, I'll be there to answer all your questions. So to the last question here, we have a question here that says that find the root. This question says that find the root of x squared. We want to find the root of x squared minus 3 after 2 iteration. This is talking about after 2 iteration using interval 0 and 2. Now in this question, you are given an interval, so you don't need to walk too far since you have your f of x. So we have our f of x. So we have f of x. Our f of x here is x raised to power 2 minus 3, and they give us interval 0, 2. So what they just need you to do here is to do for 0 and 2 after 2 iterations. So first do for, all you just need to do is do f of 0. F of 0 will be 0 raised to power 2 minus 3, which will give you negative. I get what I'm saying, and then do f of 2 because that's the interval they gave you. So if you do f of 2 is going to give you 2 raised to power 2 minus 3, which will give you 1. All right, so you can see it. My x1, very simple. My x1 is just going to be 0 plus 2 because of the interval divided by 2, which will give me what? 1. All right, then I need to do f of 1. F of 1 will be 1 raised to power 3, 1 raised to power 2 minus 3, and that will give us negative 2. So you can see negative, positive. So that's just going to be my x2. My x2 will just be what? this is producing negative, this is giving positive, so I need to add this and this. So that will be 2 plus 1 divided by 2, and that give us 1.5. So that means your iteration after your solution after 2 iteration is what? 1.5. So just like we have been doing, our x1 here is 1 and our x2 is 1.5. So if you see this as your answer, now I want you to notice something. You know that if you do f of 1 here, you are still going to get negative. I get what I'm saying? And therefore it will affect when you are doing your second iteration. That is why the question, I have to use this interval to explain my point. So I believe that with these few questions we've been able to solve, you understand the topic of bisection. So if you are solving any question on bisection, these are the methods you are going to use. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like, and always share this video. Thank you very much for staying connected, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Thank you very much, and do have a great day.